Marcus, could you tell us a little bit about Defy Ventures and what Defy stands for and what you guys are trying to get accomplished?
Sure. So, hello everyone. I'm Marcus Glover. I'm the New York board chair for Defy Ventures. And Defy Ventures is we like to call it a second chance organization. We provide entrepreneurship training, educational opportunities, and employment opportunities for people who have been affected by the criminal justice system. We offer a 10-month, you could almost think of it like an MBA level program behind bars. So this is real business management, learning of all of the critical factors that will help you to create a successful business, along with some of the soft skills, things that many people behind bars might be struggling with, that will help them to become successful entrepreneurs when they're back out on the street.
The recidivism rate in the U.S. seems to be pretty high. I think it's somewhere around 70%. Could you talk about what the recidivism rate is for your EITs?
Sure. So sadly, the criminal justice system in America is around a $90 billion a year business. And as most of you all are business minds, you know that anytime there is $80 billion in an industry, you would expect pretty sufficient ROI. Well, sadly, in the criminal justice sector, it's one of the worst rates of retention of success that exists. So for that $80 billion investment, it is guaranteed that close to 70% of the people will recidivate, meaning they will go back to prison. And it's not back to prison because there are character flaws. It's because there aren't opportunities. There is a bias in America against people with criminal histories. So our program, when people go through our program, we have actual data which suggests that less than 5% of people will go back to prison.
You were pretty instrumental in getting the MLT New York City Alumni Association committed and involved with giving back to Defy Ventures. Why do you think it was material and important for us, pretty much a group of Black and brown people or people of color, to give back to this effort?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think that when I first started volunteering with Defy, so many of the volunteers were awesome, great people who were giving their time. But one of the things that I did notice was that there weren't as many people of color who were maybe volunteering, and I think that that's something that the EITs kind of mentioned to me. So they would come up to me afterwards and say, "Hey, it's so cool that you're doing this. It really helps us to be able to connect with somebody who looks like us."
It is the members of MLT who have the skills that can help to transform someone's life through entrepreneurship. So I'm really excited because I think this is an opportunity to see so much more of how the world really needs you and how your talents are able to help to create a corner-turning moment in the lives of many of quite frankly, Black and brown people who are behind bars. And when they come out, they're facing systems of bias, systems that are not only used to put them in jail, but to keep them in an environment where they can't reach their full potential.
So again, I'm Taylor Clarkson. I'm Career Prep MLT 2014. Shout out to my class as well. And it's the night before our first visit to Connecticut to really merge the partnership of MLT and Defy. And I think what's most exciting for me is the opportunity to really be hands-on through impact. I'm most excited to see the true impact of Defy, what they've been able to pull together, and for me it's really aspirational to see the impact that MLT could and should be doing with this community as well. So it's all opportunity and upside.
Yeah, and I'm Boris Moiston. I am the chair of the MLT New York City Alumni Association, or Alumni Committee, I should say. I am an MLT MBA Prep alum, class of 2009. I went to the Fico School of Business at Duke. I've been in trading and investment management. Previous to that, in banking for a very long time. Why does Defy resonate with me, and how do I feel, you know, on the eve of going to this women's correctional facility to help out? It's mixed emotions, right? On one side, I feel as if it's sort of complicated. I don't know how to feel. I'm a little nervous about going in and meeting people who've been incarcerated for a while. And then on the other side, I feel as if I'm an abolitionist and I am helping to correct a social wrong. I'm helping to correct mass incarceration and this problem of recidivism in the country.
Right now I'm a product manager, and I'm also starting a fitness and wellness brand.
A little bit about why you're interested in working with Defy.
So I just have a strong interest in giving back. So and if I can give back to these people who have a business mindset and they're looking to build these businesses once they come out of prison, that's a great opportunity. So I wanted to.
Hey, so what's your name?
Kanye Kanene.
Hi, Kanye. And what MLT program are you with?
I am not with the MLT program, but I'm a big.
So how did you sneak into the program? Do you have, where'd you go to business school?
I went to Stern.
You went
Stern.
So you have lots of MLT friends then?
Yes, a whole lot of MLT friends. And I love what MLT stands for.
What year at Stern were you?
2011.
All right, so like Letitia, Fox, Alan, Emily Baines, those are all your folk?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
That's
cool.
The fam.
What are your thoughts on Defy, and why do you feel as if this is something that's important to do? Why are you volunteering today?
I love what Defy stands for. I think that, you know, individuals that were incarcerated, when they come out and are trying to work and be law-abiding citizens, it's hard to do so if it's hard to find a job. And so giving them opportunities and the tools to be successful and be financially independent is really important for everyone. And so I love to support that. In addition to that, I'm really, from a professional side, I'm really involved with a lot of venture capitalist groups. And so this is interesting from that side as well.
Okay. So you want to talk about what you do outside of your volunteering work?
Sure. So I work for SAP, which is a large enterprise software company, and I do business development. So that's investing in seed and early stage companies, merger and acquisition targets, and partnerships. How
are you feeling? How are you, you know, what's the anticipation like?
I'm excited, but honestly, I don't really know what to expect. I've never been inside a correctional facility before.
What's your name?
Fritz Cherubin Jr.
Hey, Fritz, and what's your affiliation with MLT?
MLT MBA Prep 2010.
Cool. Where'd you go to business school?
University of Chicago Booth School of Business.
Okay, and what are you working on now?
Right now, entrepreneur, working on a venture in the beverage space.
And why are you volunteering today?
I think it's great work. I think it's very important to provide business training, giving proper feedback, and instilling individuals with skills to get back into the workforce. Why am I volunteering? I've been fortunate to receive, you know, good guidance, counseling, and always looking for ways to pay it forward and give it back.
The event today, how are you feeling ahead of arriving at the prison?
Very excited, but at the same time, a bit nervous.
Yeah.
Definitely think it'll be a rewarding experience for all parties, so definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Marcus Singleton.
Marcus, and what's your MLT affiliation?
I am MBA Prep 2017.
Okay, so it sounds like you're still in school?
I am second year MBA at Columbia Business School.
Why are you volunteering with Defy?
I'm volunteering because I got invite from a good friend who's affiliated with the program, and I thought it was a great opportunity to give back. I had some family members who've been incarcerated, and it's a issue that's been very close to my heart, so it's a good opportunity to give back.
Could you talk a bit about like the experience of people who have been incarcerated and who've gotten out of prison, and what hardships, if any, they experience?
Absolutely. Seen the gambit. Had a few cousins, both with drug-affiliated crimes. One, got out and he's now working as an electrician, so he's been able to kind of make his own way. Others actually has issues, getting hired and never really developed the skills to be out there. So he's struggled with going in and out, recidivism, if you will.
Feeling?
I'm very excited, very excited. Although I've never been in a prison, through my family experiences, I have a pretty good idea what it's like, but I'm excited to kind of see it for myself and get to know some of the EITs that are going to be there and hear their story and their business.
What's your name?
My name is Wala El Sheikh.
And what is your MLT affiliation?
I am an MBA prep alum of 2007.
Oh, what did you do where'd you go to business school?
I went to Indiana University's Kelley School of Business.
Kelley? What did you do post Kelley?
I entered the education sector in various capacities, mainly focused on strategy, fundraising, human resources development within the college and career readiness area.
Okay, so now you're on the bus with Defy Ventures. We are heading to prison. What are your thoughts on Defy, and why did you dedicate yourself this morning when you got up at 4:30 to make our bus? Why are you volunteering?
I am volunteering because I love supporting people who are looking to make a transformation in their life. I also happen to just be really into supporting folks with their resumes, something that I do in my free time. And I can't think of a better group that is looking to make that impact in their life and supporting them. I love strategy and business and thinking about business planning and supporting them with that as well.
Okay. And what do you think about the state of mass incarceration in the U.S.?
Well, working in education, it's a lens that I'm always looking at, because if we are not building folks up with their potential for the skills that they need in the world, that school to prison pipeline is a real thing. And so it's one that I'm part of fighting daily, trying to ensure that incarceration is not something that is going to be the result of a lack of education. And the statistics are, bearing out that people of color particularly are impacted. And so as a person of color, it's something close to me to ensure that our community is not as affected.
What's your feeling as you're approaching the prison? What's the anticipation like?
I'm excited. I love meeting new people. I can't wait to meet these entrepreneurs in training. I know I'm going to be inspired, and I'm looking forward to feeling the reward as well of making this volunteer opportunity a reality, which from the beginning when I saw it, I was like, this has me written all over it.
What's your name?
My name is Megan Hunter.
Okay, Megan, what's your MLT affiliation?
I did MLT when I was an undergrad, so the MLT Career Prep. I think I was class of 2014.
Where'd you go to school?
NYU.
NYU? That's cool. What'd you do right after NYU?
I was in consulting for about 3 years, doing strategy for media, tech, telecom, and now I work in kind of the same space, strategy and corporate development, but for Verizon subsidiary digital media company.
Why did you decide to volunteer with Defy Ventures?
I mean, first of all, when I saw like the posting for this volunteer opportunity, it really stuck out to me because it's just so rare that you have the opportunity to engage with kind of this part of our society, like having this type of access to be so proximate to a prison, with it being just such a sensitive kind of part of our society that's separated for better or for worse. But you know, I was really interested in what Defy is doing and the nature of this opportunity, because I see the work that Defy does in terms of, you know, working against recidivism and working to provide a toolkit or skills and see the EIT's potential and ensure that they're able to have some autonomy and you know, no cap to their potential in what they do when they reemerge into society. I think is like really powerful.
Yeah.
And I like the assumption that I think that kind of underlies all of it, and kind of appreciating the complexity of people. So not taking someone as you've been incarcerated, so that's your story, point blank, you know, black or white, you know, you're guilty, not guilty, right or wrong. But understanding that, you know, there's a story to people, you know, where they are at one point in time, but that, you know, nothing is, you know, what you've done, again, for better or for worse, is not, you know, all that you are, and that's not the worst thing to ever happen to you. It shouldn't dictate, you know, what you're capable of and what you can do next or what your opportunity is.
We're going to enter into a highly secured, restricted area. What are your emotions like?
I have never been into a prison, never been in a facility of this type. So definitely just a lot of, I think, curiosity and a little bit of just like anxiousness in terms of like what this experience might be like. I think it'll be a little overwhelming to enter into a realm that is someone's normalcy every day, where, you know, suddenly after you've gone through security, I think that'll be very jarring to kind of enter that realm where you suddenly feel kind of removed from society.
What do you think it's going to be like to work with people who've been removed from society?
I think it'll definitely be, you know, as much as this experience is not about me, I think it will be very humbling and just inspiring, especially to meet with, you know, the EITs who are in this program and have, you know, aspirations and drive to see their potential be nurtured. I think that'll just be inspiring to kind of see people who are doing a lot with what they have, and inspire me to really not take for granted all the access that I have right now, right? Being in society, not necessarily stigmatized to the degree that they might have to experience. I would hope not, right? But that might be their reality. It would definitely.
What's your name?
Boris Moisten.
How are you affiliated with MLT?
I completed MLT MBA Prep 2009, and now I am the chair of the Alumni Committee for MLT here in New York City.
Very nice. So we are down the street from the correctional facility. What are your feelings at this moment?
Well, I'm psyched to be helping out Defy Ventures. I think the impact that they're trying to have is sort of one of the most important types of impacts for our generation, is taking on like real problems, the problems of mass incarceration and recidivism. So the fact that I get to like use my MBA skills with concentrations and entrepreneurship to help the entrepreneurs in training here makes me very excited, and I'm just humbled for the experience. I don't know what to expect. Mixed emotions, so I'm looking forward to documenting how I feel post-program.
Taylor Clarkson.
So Taylor, everyone knows you. We've been planning this event now for maybe a month or two, and we've finally gotten it done. We are down the road from the Women's Correction Facility we're going to be at. How are you feeling?
Oh boy, nervous, excited, and I really don't have words to express what I think I'm in for. Again, it's a graduation as well as a pitch, so I'm excited to see their pitches and see what they've been able to come up with in the past 10 months. But I'm also excited to see some of these women be given opportunities and see their business really grow and see the excitement around it. So it's a really aspirational moment right now, and I'm just, there's not really words to put to it. I'm excited for it.
Cool. So, and what's your name?
David Robinson Jr.
So David, we're about to enter the correctional facility here with Defy Ventures. We're going to do some good work. What are your feelings right now?
Yeah, this is my first time in a correctional facility. I'm a little nervous. I'm excited to see, what.
Everyone's getting quiet. We're getting checked in now. The bus is getting checked in. We have some amazing people with us, and would love to get your feelings post-program. Yeah? And they'll let me know. Okay? You cool with that? Great. Meeting them?
I'm in awe of the whole experience. It was definitely inspirational, like I thought it would be, but it was something that definitely surpassed expectations. And I think I wasn't prepared to really understand how talented these women were and how experienced they were in the businesses they were planning, having years of work either prior to being incarcerated or even while incarcerated, gaining tons of skills, classes around management, and having opportunities to work while inside that is really going to lead to their success. So it was beyond expectation, and it was much more emotional than I anticipated.
It was great, man. Like, you know what I mean? I really didn't know what to expect. I've done a lot of the events in the post-release program, but nothing actually in prison. And most of the folks who we worked with in the post-release program in New York anyway are men. So just seeing and hearing some of the different challenges that the women faced was particularly interesting. Hearing a lot about their backstories, some of their backgrounds, and the stuff that they've accomplished was incredibly impressive. And I was just like, yeah, this is crazy. Like, you've done some really, really cool stuff, and you just wonder, like, how did you end up here? Like, what things kind of led to being here, and then also just kind of humbles you in a sense, because not in a sense, but it completely humbles you because you realize, like, wow, if maybe one or two things would have been different in my life, maybe I could have been here, my mom could have been here, different things like that.
This together.
One. Taylor.
Boris.
I like that this time around you have a name tag on. Could you give me some insight into how you're feeling now post our visit to the prison with Defy Ventures and meeting our entrepreneurs in training?
Yeah. Right now, post that experience, I'm feeling enlightened. I'm feeling emotional, and enlightened and emotional. So enlightened in some of the women that I met have aspirations beyond my own, have drive beyond those of the people I work with, and it was a humanizing experience. They have the. I'm not talking very well right now.
4. 3, 2, 1. And what's your name?
Hi, my name is Kay Mikishi.
Yeah, Kay, and what do you do for a living?
So I am currently the founder and CEO of Mikishi Apparel, which is a women's activewear brand.
Awesome. Hopefully you'll be selling on Bandier sometime soon.
Yes.
Yeah. You came along with us to our trip to prison with Defy Ventures. Defy and MLT made a pact to try to create some sort of impact, and we're focusing on the formerly incarcerated and the incarcerated, or as Defy calls them, our entrepreneurs in training. Why did you decide to come along today?
You know what, Marcus invited me, and it was an all women's group. I'm all about empowering women, and I just had a gut feeling like I needed to be here today.
Yeah.
So here I am.
Did you take away anything from the experience?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I was just crying the whole time, basically, just moved to tears, literally, by the energy in the room, the determination, the positivity, the ambition. You can just feel the ambition in the atmosphere.
So Boris, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling very encouraged. I think this was an impactful event, not only for the entrepreneurs in training that took away lessons, entrepreneurship and business and strategy lessons for us today, but also for me and for us. Learning about the problems that the incarcerated face currently while behind bars, and the psychological impact that they go through, thinking about what life for them on the outside is going to be, whether or not they're ready. I feel encouraged because programs like Defy prepare them, and it gives them the ability to defy the odds and not recidivate, which is a huge problem, or one of the major problems facing society today. So I'm feeling good. I had some reluctance when I initially heard about the program. I felt somewhat indifferent towards that segment of our population. Do they deserve to be helped? Why should I do it? Will it make an impact? And I was pleasantly surprised today to learn the type of impact Defy has is one that could really solve the issues that we're having today. If it costs $5,000 to put someone through a program annually, and they have a 5% chance of recidivating versus $100,000 to keep them locked up for a year, not having the program and having a 70% chance of recidivating, those numbers are good numbers for Defy. And I feel as if the growth I had was learning that we have a moral, I would say, rot or issue in this country where this is exactly the type of programming the incarcerated should be getting in order to provide them with the enrichment services that they need to do well when they integrate into society again. So how am I feeling? I'm feeling as if I've done a lot of good, and I am proud of myself, and I've learned and taught myself, and I think this program and other programs like it are programs I'm going to be supporting going forward.
The event was an amazing experience. So I didn't really know, this was my first time, so I didn't know what to expect going into it. But it pretty much blew away any feelings I had about it going in. So I was just amazed at the growth by the entrepreneurs there, from being in the program about 9 months, from just taking an idea even start the program. And then they're pitching their idea to a group of about 200 people. That was amazing to see. Also, I was even getting a little teary-eyed at the end where the family members were when they were meeting with the family members, and some of them were just talking about their experience and just hugging their family members. So that was very touching. So, and some really great pitches, some really great ideas, and they seem to do a lot of work in the course. So it was a great program. So I really enjoyed this experience.
What would you say to other MLTers who are reluctant to participate because of their biases against the incarcerated? What would you say to help dissipate those biases to encourage them to attend?
Yeah, there were a couple comments people made that really stuck with me. One is, imagine being remembered by the biggest mistake you ever made forever, right? And also the point that a lot of us have done things that we've just gotten away with, and some of us could probably be in the York Correctional Facility just as someone else could. We just had a luckier path so far. So just understanding that these people are not that different from who we are, I think would help that. And also understanding that everybody that's in the program is getting released soon in the next year or so. So they've already had a chance to reflect and have paid their time, right? So I think they deserve the benefit of the doubt based on that.